Welcome to Holly's Pandorium, featuring your host, psychic medium Holly Jordan.
Hey, everybody, we're back. Oh my gosh. So it's been a while since I've talked to Don, but I'm very happy to have him back here. Hello, Don. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
Good. So this is my anniversary episode. I told Don this is 2-year mark. I've been doing this for 2 years, and I was thinking today a lot about why I'm doing this. And so for those of you that don't know, or if you haven't heard this, um, I grew up, which as many of us did, I'm 61, okay? I'm not a kid. I grew up in an era where I was allowed to talk about the paranormal in my house with my mom and nobody else. And I grew up that way for many, many years. And as I got older, I learned why. Not everybody's open to talk about things that are supernatural. Even though people like to talk about spiritual things, they get a little weirded out when you start expanding on that. There's even people who, say that they love things that are spiritual or exciting, but, even angels scare people sometimes, which I find fascinating. I don't know why they would. But that being said, there's a lot more out there. I've experienced a lot of creature encounters and energy encounters with different things, being a spirit medium person, such as myself. And Don has also. Don has encountered a lot of different things in his life. And for those of you that haven't, grab some popcorn, get a blanket, sit on the couch or your favorite chair, and sit back and relax because we're going to share some stories. And Don has been around a lot of different people with a lot of different things that they've seen. So I'm excited to hear some of his journey and what he's experienced. And my goal of this podcast is to make sure that the next generation is completely liberated to talk about whatever paranormal things they see or hear. I have grandkids, and I would very much like them to not ever be afraid to ask questions or to talk publicly about the paranormal ever. I want it to be a lot opener. I don't know if that's the right word. Opener? Is that a word, Don? I don't think that's a real word.
It's good enough to me. It's good enough for me. It's good enough.
We'll just let it fly for tonight. Why not?
Good enough.
Okay, Don. So I know that you do some Sasquatch investigations, and I know that in doing so, you've talked to a lot of different people and asked questions about what they've seen. And you mentioned the last time we talked that sometimes people share that they've seen other things other than Sasquatch. So can you share some of those stories with us tonight?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Um, so you know, my time out and about on the reservation, my main goal, my main guy that I look for is Sasquatch. It's my favorite cryptid, and a lot of times I've been encountering a lot of my local people that have been seeing other cryptids, such as a centaur, which is a half man, half horse, and one of the most disturbing ones out there that I came face to face was a goat man, and there's also the minotaur that they also seen running around. These creatures are huge, except the goat man was small. Um, we also have the thunderbird, which is also the pterodactyl. So I seen its tracks up on top of a high mesa, 72,000 feet elevation mesa. So it's a hike to get up there. So I've seen its tracks up there. It's one of those mesas where you got to be down when the sun goes down. You got to get off right away.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see tracks, all looking tracks. And one of the ones that we have to really be weary and look out for is the gargoyle. And that creature will just I had a guest on last night or a few nights ago. He's Apache out of San Carlos, and he actually had seen it twice while he was on duty as a police officer on San Carlos Apache Reservation. And I also have a government insider who's a NDA. Well, be ending soon, and I hope to get him on my podcast. And he used to work for the government for years, and he knows of all of these cryptids and underground bases and all these secret government projects. and they also have every knowledge of these grid lines across the country and even the world, and they know of different giants that are underneath us, and they have knowledge that we do not understand still.
That's
And
cool. That's
y-
incredible.
yeah, just meeting all kinds of fascinating people. And I'm an introvert at heart, but when we start talking about some weird things and some crazy things that normal people that would brush off and walk away, look at you like you have a third eye,
Yeah.
or look at you like you slapped them across the face with a wet fish.
Right.
You get those looks. You're like, okay, all right, you're cool. Like we can talk.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and then one of the bigger ones that that we've been coming across a lot is this giant serpent. This giant snake has horns, and it's black. And it like this one part of the reservation where you see the dirt, this thing will be shifting underneath the dirt. You'll see it'll pop out and look around, and you'll see its horns coming out, and it's sticking its tongue out, sniffing. And it also comes out of a lake too, and along the river it comes out. People see it all across northern part of the Navajo Nation. And
Mm.
where the gargoyles, same area and part of the reservation where it tried taking a man. It was circling around him, screaming, and it was swooping down to get him. And he dropped to the ground and rolled underneath his brother's dually, and he was screaming, screaming. And this thing was right as soon as he made it underneath the dually. I'll backtrack.
Mhm.
He made it underneath the dually, and this thing came down and hit the ground right where he was just at, and it flew back up. He was screaming, and his two brothers came out like, "What's going on? What's going on?" He said, "Something's with wings flying around trying to get me." And they looked out and they see this thing going in circles and screaming. The moon was full. This thing
Mhm.
went up towards the moon. It dropped towards them. It took its wings and started diving towards them again. And they had to take out the shotguns, the AR-15s, and they were shooting. And his brother crawled out from underneath the dually and ran inside. That was his first time encountering the gargoyle.
Wow.
The second time, yeah, yeah. The second time, he said that the certain time of the evening, the sheep and the goats, they'll make their way back home, and they'll put themselves back in the corral because the animals will know if you're out there till dark, something's gonna get you. Whether it
Yeah.
be natural wildlife to something, something that
Yeah.
will scare the crap out of you.
Wow.
Make you crap yourself. And so it was past that time, and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta go look for them." And he started looking around, and over like 2 miles away, he said, 2 miles away, he seen the sheep and the goat in a perfect circle. He said they're all just in a circle facing out towards
Mhm.
him, and he is grabbing rocks to try to throw a rock at them to disperse and get them moving back to the corral. He was screaming
Right.
like, "What are you guys doing? Come on, let's
Right.
go!" Nothing. They were just ignoring getting hit in the rock. Just he said he got closer, and their eyes, they're looking around like this. He said they're all of them. They're looking in the air. They made a circle. And he said that as soon as he seen that, he said the chills ran up his spine. He said the blood just rushed to his face, and he heard the
Oh, wow.
this thing, the wings flying around him. And he said the sheep started all crying again. Ah, they were crying. He said that
Oh,
when he was trying to chase them, he said he actually started pushing them. They finally started moving.
yeah.
This thing was going around them. He called back home, and his family came down with a few trucks and rifles and spotlights, and they seen this thing flying around, and it started diving towards them. They tried taking the same guy again, and they're shooting at this thing. And they had to escort the whole sheep all the way back 2 miles to the corral.
Wow.
Yeah, he said it's one of the most scariest nights of his entire life in that
I
same area.
bet. So how
Yeah,
long ago did this happen?
uh, a few years ago, separate
Okay.
times, different time of the year, and
Okay.
this is my family that I'm related to.
Okay.
Um, and this is the same family that also, like, there's a power line. dirt road, and they take that dirt road to go exercise, run up and down in the evening time. But the sun
Sure.
went down one evening. They're making their way back home, and they seen something coming along the road towards them, the dirt road. They got
Mhm.
closer. It was a half man, half goat. And they actually just went around him and started running home. Then another way down the hill, they're minding their own business. The sun went down, and they actually seen a herd of centaurs. And these centaurs are darker, like really dark skin. Like I've been getting correlation of the description of these centaurs.
Okay.
These centaurs are very dark, darker
Mm.
than me. Like you left the native person outside all day.
Yeah.
And same thing, the classic description of a half horse, but the neck is a human torso. And
Okay.
then the mange, like the tail, it has the hair on the tail, but the hair continues all the way up its back and all the way up, and it gets really hairy to the head, to the man's
Mm.
head and his upper torso. So it gets really hairy. He has really thick black hair.
Okay.
And different areas, they have war paint, we would say. They have different war
Interesting.
paint. Yeah, in my area, they have white face paint, war paint. And then the different part of the Navajo Nation, they have a yellow paint. And as far as my Apache relatives, I guess they didn't have any paint. And then a different tribe outside of Phoenix, they're Salt River Pima. They said the same thing too, but no face paint, just
Interesting.
wild looking. And his eyes is huge and black.
It's
Because they can
interesting
see
when
at
you
night.
talk about this. It reminds me of a story um, a gentleman shared with me a while back, and it was a truck driver driving home one night, and he saw what he thought was just maybe cow eyes off the road. It was a dark 2-lane road, and when you're in a semi, there's not a lot of light when you're driving down the highway. Sometimes it's very dark. But
Mhm,
you can see eyes, little bit of light from other headlights will reflect animal eyes or whatever, or they
mhm,
glow depending on what type of eyes they have.
mhm,
And so he saw something, he saw some eyes, and then he felt like something was watching him. And
mhm,
eventually something lunged at the truck cab,
mm.
and he saw what looked like a giant dog werewolf type thing
Oh,
on on the side of his cab, glaring at him through the window. And he grabbed a pistol that he had on the seat and shot at it, and he ended up getting stopped several miles down the road by a bunch of black SUVs,
oh,
and they informed him that he damaged government property.
oh,
And so I'm sure you've heard some of these stories. And so I was just
that's right.
wondering if some of these creatures that you're hearing about on the reservation, if it's a similar situation to that. I've heard many stories about experiments that have been done to see about making super warriors or super military that could handle ground troops.
Mhm,
I'm a person that studies history quite a bit, and I by no means am a historian. I'm just a fan of history, and I like to study the art of war. I'm very fascinated by it, and some very, very knowledgeable people that have studied way more than I have said that regardless of how big your army is, regardless of how big your air force is, no matter how big your navy is, it's your ground troop that is going to determine the outcome of every war. And
mhm,
so if we take that thought and apply it to this idea, if that's true, if ground troop warfare is the determining factor to win or lose any war, well, then it makes sense to have the greatest warriors you can to maintain your status quo.
mhm,
So it makes complete sense to me that there would be something that we know nothing about, the general public would not have any knowledge of, because that's kind of the idea. They don't want us to know. They don't
mhm,
want anyone to know, because if we ever got stuck in a manner of extreme circumstances, we want to have some tricks up our sleeve to pull out to defend what we have.
Mhm.
So even though it sounds completely outlandish to most people, when you experience an unusual being, um, I actually saw Bigfoot when I was 12 years old, and I cannot unsee it. It was in broad daylight, you guys. It was not way out in the woods. It was at a campsite. I was with my family. I happened to see it by myself. No one else saw it but me. But I was not without my capacities. I know exactly what I saw. I know exactly what I felt. I know what I smelled. I know how far away I was. This thing was massive.
Mhm.
I was watching a Bigfoot program today, or Sasquatch program today, and a gentleman was talking about he has this long history with Sasquatch. He's been, studying them for years, and he's been measuring their feet and figuring out their height by images that he has and photographs that he has. And he came across one that was 9 feet tall that had a 17-inch footprint in the snow. And I'm positive that the one that I saw was at least that tall, at least that
Mhm.
tall. It was
Mhm.
standing in front of a small dumpster, and was at the height its hip bone was at the height of the dumpster, the small dumpster. That's 4 feet in the air.
Mhm.
That's tall, and it was leaning over, reaching in the dumpster when I saw it,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
That's what they
And
do.
so the whole upper half of the body was massive, leaning over, grabbing stuff.
Wide shoulders. Yeah.
Yes, it was humongous, and it was red and brown. It had very
That's
long
my
hair,
same one I see. Uh-huh.
and it didn't look like a monkey to me at all. It didn't. It had unusual features to what I was used to. It had darker eyes, but they were very big eyes, and I was more surprised. I don't remember feeling terrorized. I remember feeling shocked, and I remember not knowing what to do and freezing, and then I remember hearing in my mind, "Go home." And I knew instinctively it came from that thing, whatever that was. When I was that age, I had never heard of a Bigfoot at that time. Didn't know what that was, had never heard of it.
Mhm.
My mom was super protective and never let us kids watch anything spooky. So at
Mhm.
my age, I was too young to even watch Frankenstein or vampire movies.
Mhm.
I'd seen none of it. I was the baby. I was not allowed to be corrupted by scary things. And so it blew me away. But I know what I know. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. I know what I smelled.
Mhm.
I thought a smell is what the first thing I got. And I thought for
Mhm.
sure, man, the garbage really stinks today. It was this weird pungent smell. I'll never forget it.
Mhm.
It was profoundly strong, like, whoa,
Mhm.
knock you over. And
Yeah.
that was not garbage.
Yeah.
Woo,
Um,
it was something.
I can, yeah, for real. That's what I didn't smell that until after it tried taking my cousin brother. We
Oh,
ran after it and it gave off that smell. It made us
yeah.
stop, my cousin and I, and it ran up a hill impossible for us to go up. And the rocks was coming down and we're gagging. This
Oh,
guy went up that like it was 200 feet 200-foot hill. They went up it quick.
yeah.
And going back all the way to the what you were saying, the government using it, weaponizing it. I think
Right.
like for us Native American tribes, we always known these guys been around. So these guys aren't new. You know,
Right.
the government experiments is a possibility, but they only started doing it after they captured a live specimen in
Of
order
course.
for them to do that. And some of them, like I heard a podcast that they have collar, but the ones that we run into, they have no collar, no tracker. I
Okay.
spoke with a gentleman that killed, or sorry, that expired a dogman with his bow that was
Okay.
running. It got well, he was on his hunt. He was on the hunt. Okay, he
Hmm.
got to a meadow area and these elk started spooking. They ran up a hill, and he was standing there all in full camo with his bow. And he said that he seen something brown running down the mesa really fast. He said
Hmm.
it got to the bottom, and he said he was looking at it. He said it was a snout and an ear, and he said it was on all four. And he said that he was just quiet. He's like, "Oh man, is this a bear?" He says, "It's 50 yards from him, this
That's not
thing."
that far.
Yeah, and that Dogman was upwind from him, or he
Mm.
can smell like he's not supposed to smell him at all. He shouldn't have
Right.
heard him, but this thing turned and looked right at him. And he said that the
Yikes.
tree was behind him too. He was standing like right by a tree, chemo, and he has this a scent where it kills his scent, a spray. He had
Okay.
all that on. This
Right.
thing turned and was looking right at him. And he said that
Oh,
he's like, this guy's not supposed to see me. This is a
right.
bear. It's not a bear. He started looking at it, realizing that this thing had a gaze on his eyes,
Right.
like he's up for a game. And he said that he started waving his bow in the air. He's like, "Go on, get out of here, bear! Get out of here!" Yelling.
Right. Right.
And this thing pinned its ear back. And he said, just like that, boom! It ran towards him. He said, "Well, it was running." He said it went down like this, and it went like this. He said every time he said that just within those a few movements like that,
Right.
10 feet in front of him like that. He said it
Wow.
was right on top of him, and he said he already had his bow out, and he let go. He let his
Mhm.
bow go. And he said the arrow was flying. He said that it made contact within 5 feet. And the arrow,
Oh,
he seen the
that's
arrow
close.
went through his shoulders,
Yeah.
his chest, and it went through the back. And he said this thing spun around right in front of him. Said this thing was spinning around and it ran down the hill. And it was down the hill, and he said it was like, oh, 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 like real deep and very loud.
Wow.
And he said he was just shaking, and his family, they picked him up, and he was just out of it. And I'm going to that spot end of this month to
Are
see if
you? Okay, I wanna hear more
yeah.
about that because that's
Oh,
incredible.
yeah. So this family, they have Bigfoot stories, and they have lizard man stories. They actually seen the lizard man. This guy
So
was
where did that
14
happen?
feet tall.
I
uh
wanna hear about that.
on the Navajo Nation, I have a few stories of him, different parts of the Navajo Nation, even
Really?
from my wife. My wife actually seen pictures of the lizard man,
Ooh,
and he was cloaked. That's the only being we know that can cloak is a lizard man. Sasquatch can't cloak. Dogman can't cloak. Uh, Lizard man's the only being that can cloak. But UFOs, ET, they can cloak their ships. They can cloak it. That's for sure.
yeah.
They love to follow my family home. They followed my family home after corn harvest. They followed them for 20 miles along the
Wow.
highway. Yeah, and then another time they were right above the area of the house. Like they're just 100 feet. They took a whole video of it. Was the clearest UFO sighting I have ever seen in my life was from my little sister, my little brother. They're like, what is it? I don't know. I'm scared. It's just hovering right there. It's just shining. It's just like a shield.
Yeah.
And I've seen like abductions myself. I don't know if I told you guys twice, seen the ship go over a house and the portal open in the sky. So and mothership, all these weird things happen, strange things happen.
Right.
And we call all of them underneath one name is Alele,
Okay.
and that means mystical, magical.
Okay.
Alele.
Okay.
So my investigating team, we're called Alele Naalka. So it translates to mystical investigators.
Gotcha.
So
That's
yeah, so
awesome.
we have one hand trembler. It's another form of medicine man, another form of a median,
Mhm.
Navajo median that we have. We have different types of medians or gifted people. We say they have gifts. Some are
Okay.
the eyes, some are the ears, some are the head, some are the tail, some are the
Oh,
hands.
okay.
So just like what's in your Bible, same thing,
Okay.
different bodies in God. We have the
Right.
same thing, but it's just different, you know. And our buddy, he's a hand trembler, so that's his
Okay.
gift. And he can get a rock right here, crystal. You say, "Where's
Mhm.
my car keys? I lost my keys. I'll give you
Mhm.
this much money. Can you help me?" He's like, okay. Then he makes this crystal rock come alive, and he'll show you where you dropped your keys or who stole it, or if
Really?
it's in a tree, or if it's in a bush, or if it's in a trash can.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
So we use him, and with the pictures of Bigfoot, the sheep slaughtering. I send him pictures, and he tells me which canyon into a cave. And I asked the local there, how's this canyon? Does it go to a cave? And they tell me yes, that cave is very scary. So he's accurate time and time again. So we're a very unique team, a modern we're all young Navajos. I'm probably the oldest one.
Yeah.
And all my members are 28, 27, 30,
Mhm.
and we're just the more open to sharing about our experiences. And a lot of my team members are my former guests as well. And
Nice.
doing my podcast or our podcast, Darren and I open up doors. So we have a lot of open cases coming up, including skinwalkers,
Nice.
which is going to be very scary. So I'm gonna
I bet.
need to get some life insurance for that.
Not a
And
bad idea. Not a bad idea. Now I'm
yeah, so
curious, when you talk about the Sasquatch hunting, for lack of a better term, um, what gives you confidence to go where they are living and doing whatever it is they do? How do you feel
no,
safe doing there? What is it that makes you feel safe to go? Because I have people that are curious about Sasquatch stuff and they don't mind watching it on TV, but the idea of actually following one and getting right up in their business and in their living room, so to speak, is out of the question. So, how is it that your team feels that they can do that? What do you guys think about that? What does it mean to you to be able to follow them and see where they're at? What is your end goal to connect with them, or what do you want to do by searching for them like this?
different areas, there seems to be different behaviors.
Hmm.
One part is friendly, where they like to. This family, they stay in a very remote area in the mountains, and they have to go outside at least 50 to 100 yards to outhouse to go do their business.
Hmm.
And they go out in the dead of night, and there's a family of Sasquatches that stay by them. They call him mischievous one, George. He's like a teenager. He
Is
likes
he?
to grab their ankle when they're
Yeah,
walking down the steps, and he
yeah,
runs off, or he'll act like a bush on the trail. He'll huddle up, he'll make a ball himself like a ball, and they
yeah.
walk by. He'll grab their legs and he'll run off on all four.
Like a kid. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah,
Just
and
being a
his mom's
prankster.
standing there. Yeah, his mom's
Right.
standing by the tree, yep,
Wow.
watching him. And then his dad's like 14 feet tall. He leaves his handprints on the trailer. And the
Does he?
dad's like, yeah, so the dad's like 6'4", 6'5", huge
Yeah,
guy. And then when he stretches out his arms, that's how far like the Sasquatch looks like. He just put his hand like this. And that
yeah.
guy, he's a big guy. He has to stretch out his arm like this. And then
Wow.
the handprint is like way up there on the trailer. Like I said, that guy is 6'6", 6'5", and his hands like 5 feet below the handprint. So these
Wow.
guys are huge, different colors.
Yeah,
And each of one of my teammates, we actually all have our own Sasquatch encounter, Sasquatch experience, and
yeah.
some of my teammates seen Sasquatch take sheep from the trail and run off with him. And there's actually pretty scary stories too. Some got dragged off in the tent.
Oh,
You know, yeah, and we all have our brush-ins with him, but with us being Dene, we're told to keep quiet, leave him alone. If you bother
right,
him, you're gonna have a boulder on your tent, or you're gonna have a boulder on your head.
right.
Yeah, and he likes blood. He's gonna drink your blood. He's gonna take you into the hollow earth. So we have a lot of hollow earth entry points across the Navajo
Okay.
Nation. Our people know about it. So
Right,
whenever we say we're gonna film a documentary, when, where, why, what time, how long,
right.
and
Yeah,
they'll be there. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They won't let you get into some spots where there's a portal, an active portal. So a lot
Right.
of our national monuments have a portal, and it's governed by little people. So
Yeah.
little people is all through different Native American cultures, and
Mhm.
he gave us a lot of songs, cultural songs, a lot of
Yeah.
dances, and he actually gave us uh one of our ancestors safety. He was being chased by a Pueblo tribe that were Spider Clan. They're
What
chasing him.
what is that?
Oh,
I've never heard of that.
it's just a clan within the Pueblo group. So I don't know, like maybe all those Pueblos have a Spider Clan. So this is
Okay.
a long time ago. So they're chasing him around Henry Mountains. And he actually started following a rabbit. And he followed the rabbit into the hole. I guess the rabbit actually said, "Come with me, let's go." And he
Yeah.
actually went into the hole, and he jumped into the hole with him. And he got in there with a badger, a skunk, a rabbit and a wolverine, and there was a little person in there too. They're all by a fire. Like, what in the heck was this guy doing here? He's like, I followed the rabbit. He's like, it's all right, it's all right. He's with me. He's cool. But the words are different. I'm just making
Sure.
it.
No,
So
that's amazing. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So they taught him a lot of ceremonial songs, and then when they taught him 9 songs, just 9 songs, they brought him back up to the surface, and 3 generations passed.
Wow.
And then he went back to the same area where he was from, and he found out that the generations passed, and that was his siblings' great great grandkids in that area.
Wow.
He showed himself. He went down there to say hi, and they all said that my grandpa, like that, was spoke about you, saying you might come back one day. They had
Hmm.
faith that you'll come back somehow, some way. And
Yeah.
sure enough, and he said, and he left again, and he came back again. So every time he leaves, he comes back. He teaches us new things, and
Interesting.
yeah, that's been a repeat process in different parts of the Navajo Nation where people are missing, and then they say, "Yeah, seen him again," but he's into the Hollow Earth. He's learning things that's going to be very valuable to us in the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we got a lot of that going on. So Navajo Nation is a Robux cube. We have a lot of different things going on at different places for different reasons.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and it's fun. And
Well, it sounds like quite the adventure, really.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. Like they say, the desert is one of the greatest teachers in life. A
yeah,
lot of things happen when the sun goes down.
yeah,
You know, the crazy things you'll see. Um, like for us, I've been researching Sasquatch and tracking him. I've tracked a pair of 17-inch along with the 12-inch tracks, baby and
yeah,
a mama taking a bath underneath a waterfall from a mountain.
yeah.
And then his daddy, their dad sitting across the way, his foot tracks is like 24 inches.
Oh, good grief.
And how his where his toes is, the width of that part was like over a foot, like
That's
like
insanely large.
like
That sounds
under a
more like a
foot.
giant. That
Yeah,
doesn't sound like a Sasquatch. That sounds like to me, it sounds like a giant.
yeah. But he's black. There's
Yeah.
something bigger than him. There's
Wow.
there's a track bigger than him, and he's the Yei Dene. So that is the giant, and they
Okay.
have teeth coming up from their bottom tusk.
Okay.
Yeah, they usually carry a club around. They have 6 toes,
Interesting.
6 fingers from the
Wow.
Bible. Yeah, same thing
Okay.
from the Bible. So all across the Southwest, you see pictographs of him. So the
Really?
shirt right here, yeah, this shirt right here,
Mhm.
this guy's the monster slayer. So there's
Yeah.
twins right here. So we're descendant. These guys help hunt all the Bigfoots down. They hunt all the dogmen down. They hunt the rakes down. They hunt the
Yeah.
goatmen, the centaur, all these monsters that are underneath Alele.
Mhm.
So they hunt them all down. They chase them all into the Grand Canyon to a portal, and then they let them live there. They say, "All right, today's for you, night's for us.
Yeah.
We respect you. You respect us. And
Right.
if you don't, the Creator is gonna send another destroyer and come and take all you guys out."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So their weapon was a arrow, bow that shot out lightning. So I have a picture of that on my phone.
Oh, yeah?
Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an old pictograph of a Sasquatch yelling
Mhm.
like this with his hair, and then the Navajo dude coming in with his bow. He's shooting an arrow, and that arrow has like a lightning strike trailing the arrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the arrow is going right for the Bigfoot.
That's
So
incredible.
yes,
Before we got started, Don, I wanna go back to something really quick. In your first interview, you talked about being a little boy and how you lived with a couple generations of grandparents at one point, and that you would try your best to stay awake when they were telling stories because they would always tell you these amazing stories. And so to keep that tradition and to not let those stories be lost, I have never heard any of them. So I would love to hear even one or two of the stories that you heard growing up. Would you mind sharing a couple of those? Do you think you can share some of that tonight?
um, yeah, yeah. the one of the stories I remember hearing from my grandpa. Half my family is Christian, the other is traditional, and I had a lot of special moments with the traditional family. A lot of stories that it's kind of hard to translate. I think that's my hard thing, is to translate
Sure.
everything.
No, I can
That's my
appreciate that.
so we would have a stories, wintertime stories, so different stories for every time of the solstice of the sun.
Okay.
And one of the ones where winter comes and spring's coming, where Mother Earth becomes a girl again, a young girl. So every change of the season, so like right now, she's a young woman. It's summertime, and then fall time, she's getting older, and then winter, she's an old white-haired woman. Then
Okay.
spring, she's a little girl again.
Okay.
So, we have those stories that talk about that and break that down, but it's kind of hard to translate it for you. And one of the things that I can share, that also was told to me from my grandpa was, like how we're all one. We're all one family of one creator. We all have 5 fingers. We all have this squirrel that all goes right here in our head. The world is a circle, and everything is all rotating around one another. And us as humans, we have two circles, and we have to be in that balance with everyone and each other. And we have to be careful with our tongue, our words, because they all can come back and bite us. So one of the things that we all spoke about, our language is very, very powerful. Like the creator, when he made this world singing with his words. And that's how we got some of our language, is from the original words from the creator, because he sang everything into existence. The whole universe was with nothing. He was the only thing that was there of light, the only
Right.
light, and he started singing. He sang everything into existence here: the stars, the sun, the moon, the earth, the water. He made everything, made sure it was all good for all of us to be here. So every one of us is a song, a special, unique song to place us here within all his art, all his creation. So we are the ones that are of him. He made us, and he made Sasquatch together, both of us side by side. So we're the one of the first creations that he really adored and loved. He made us side by side.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things we have to be careful, especially when we talk, when we speak to one another. We can bring things into existence.
Oh
Like when
yeah.
you pray, you're praying and you're praying and you're praying, you're speaking it out, you're sending it out to the galaxy. And it's making its way all through the Milky Ways and the different galaxy, that galaxy, and coming all the way back, and it moves things for you and it helps you. So like our position in this life is to live with balance, not
Yeah.
to shape Mother Earth, but to add to it, to add to her beauty. That's
Right.
one of our things that we have to be, our role as Dene. And then whenever we would look up, don't be afraid if you see a UFO, because they're only here to check on us to see if we're still here, Dene. And if
Yeah.
there's no Dene around, UFOs are going to destroy the whole world with fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the stories. Pretty,
Really.
yeah,
Really.
yeah.
That's amazing.
They're called the holy people.
Yeah.
Dien Dene. That's what we call
Okay.
them, the holy people, the helpers, creators, helpers. That's what
That's
one of
amazing. Now
our
there's Hopi
first.
legends about that I'm a
Mhm,
little familiar with.
mhm.
Yeah, that talk about that a little bit, and where discussing of origins comes from different focal points, but that there's a lot of importance placed on relationships with the stars and relationships with characters from the stars that come and help from time to time, that have helped different parts of the culture as it's developed, when there were times of crisis and when there were times of need, that they always had help from the stars. So
Yeah,
I
they
think
would
that's fascinating.
they would also give signs when there's a time of war, and
Hmm.
also when's the time to prepare for war, and
Yeah.
also will show you when there's a great trouble coming. It also showed us when Cortez was coming too in the sky. So they
Really?
all give messages. We already knew they were coming, and then
Yeah.
we seen it again. Say, oh, it's gonna be a great change. So we started putting a lot of our corn, a lot of our seeds in high places, inaccessible places.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were ready, and then after the genocide, and after because the Hopis, the Zunis, all the Pueblos, everyone had their hand in this genocide against us, and still to this day,
Really?
they praise genocide against my people.
Really? I did not
On the
know that.
Hopi, yeah, they call themselves
Really?
peaceful people, but they're not. We're the real peaceful people. So we have to be careful with our identity around them. We have to be careful with who we are around them, and we can't share our
Interesting.
clans at all. Only we have to trust one certain people. Like if I would trust you, I'll tell you my identity off camera
I
because
gotcha.
our identity is very sacred. Because back in the day, if they knew we are Navajo, they would turn in our scalp. Because at one point in history, our scalp was worth $10, and then the female Navajo and Navajo children were the highest around the slave market. They were sold in Mexico City and shipped out across the world. Everyone was trying to take us off here, but my family, we resorted to becoming skinwalkers, or we were skinwalkers, and we started playing hide and go seek all across Grand Canyon, Henry Mountain, Cedar Mesa, Utah, Colorado, you name it. We're playing hide and go seek, and we have to be careful. And there's also a story. I'm having a gentleman coming on, my hand trembler. Our team members coming on this coming
Mhm.
Sunday, and he's going to share a story where these Pueblos, they started singing these songs to these dolls. They laid these dolls on a bed. They're singing these songs with the lights off, and they put those dolls outside. And these dolls came alive, and they started hearing the girl sharing a story that told him that she heard kids laughing outside, and an old man outside laughing, and they're banging on her wall, boom, boom, boom. And the mom, I guess the girl, she is Navajo, and she was dating a Pueblo guy. He took her home, and then he was telling her, "Be quiet, don't say anything, just be quiet, don't say you're Navajo." And then these dolls were banging on her wall for hours. And then the mom was like, "What? Why are they doing? Why are they banging on her wall? They never do this. Who is she? What's her identity? Why did you
Mhm.
bring her here?" And he told her she's Navajo, and they just flipped. They flipped, and they had to get the grandpa out the back room again. And he went outside, and he was whistling, he was singing, he was chanting something, and
Okay.
he brought all those dolls back inside. I guess
I have
different.
never heard this before. I am amazed. I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
no
it might
idea. Wow.
this might get you shut down. This is the inner this is the dark side of intertribal racism that people
Wow.
don't talk about. And I'm willing to, like, hey, everyone, hey, I have a low sympathy for someone that praises genocide, and all of them are like that. They're openly just praising genocide. And like, you guys all took your best shot. You guys all hit like a girl.
I love it.
Yeah,
Honestly, Don,
so
I'm Italian and some other things. I'm a mix of races, but I can
oh,
tell you
hey,
that
same here. Same
yeah,
here. I'm Spanish and Italian through my
yeah,
grandmother.
yeah. So Northern and Southern Italians don't get along
Mm.
at all. Korean, Chinese, there's always a split. So it's not really that unusual. I've just never heard about the vast difference in those tribes. I had no idea.
Oh, it's very,
It's not
very.
really that surprising, I guess, because when you think about it, it's everywhere.
Mhm.
Tribes are no different than anybody else in that
Oh
aspect.
yeah, it's all human nature. That's
Mhm.
why I say, it's human nature. People fight, people hate each other, people love each other,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's how all of us are mixed. Because I'm a mixture of multiple tribes myself. I'm
Right.
not only a Navajo, I'm a Ute, and I'm Hopi, I'm Mojave. So we're all mixed, and then people that were just our neighbor thinks that we're something, we're all this, but we're all just a vast majority of Skittles.
Mhm.
Different colors, different shapes and sizes. and
But I like
and
what
I,
you said earlier about we're all connected because, I had a near-death experience 14 years ago. Was dead for 8.5 minutes, and I can
mm,
tell you that one of the most impressionable things that I experienced was a feeling of connecting to everything around me. And I felt my family before I saw them. I felt connected, and it was in an instant, and there was such a tight bond and such a tight link, and it's like all at once. I knew everybody's feelings, I knew everybody's thoughts, I had their history, I had their mindset, their memories. It was like this incredible brain that linked up with mine and shared with me everyone all at once. But the most profound feeling I had was unconditional love, like more than an animal loving you, like this incredible bond. I did not want to leave. It was so incredible. I never felt so peaceful and so calm and so like there was no separation, even though they were separate entities from me. It didn't feel separate. They felt like they were part of me, like my skin and my hand, my everything. It was like I didn't want to leave that. That was the most joyful, loving feeling I'd ever had.
Mm.
And I didn't have a bad life. I had a very good family that loved me. I had some rough times growing up as everybody does to their own degree, but that was incredible. And so I try to go back to that as much as I can, especially in my prayers and meditations, because I think we have to get to that somehow. We have to connect that somehow. Our world is constructed in such a way, I think, for us to learn and for us to grow and go through experiences so we become better at some point. But I think we get so busy that we disconnect way too much. I
Mm.
think when we had the COVID lockdown, that was kind of a blessing in disguise because we were facing each other so much more than what we normally do. And I loved all the stories that people had about sitting at the table and talking and just really talking like they hadn't in years, like really connecting and how incredible that was. Technology is amazing and I love it, but sometimes it's overrated.
Mhm.
I think the quiet times are kind of really valuable and important. So I'm glad that we have those. But no, I think you're right. And I had no idea about the diversity and the angst between the tribes. I had no clue. No clue at all. It makes
Yeah,
sense. I know there was warring with the tribes. I'm aware of that. But
yeah.
what you're describing sounds incredible. I mean, wow, that blows my mind. It's
Oh yeah,
incredible.
it makes me feel like one in a million.
Right? I bet.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I didn't ask to come here. I didn't ask to be born here. I'm just
Right.
here. I'm trying to make it as it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? And did I share with you the night my grandma passed away?
I
Um,
don't think so. I don't think so.
um,
Go ahead.
I told you how
Share
she
with.
passed away, right? We're in battle with skinwalkers. How she passed away.
Mm, share that again
Um,
because that was actually really amazing. I
oh,
remember a
okay.
little bit about that,
Um,
but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, like after I got my first haircut by the skinwalker,
Right.
weeks later, my grandma turned on the light, seen that guy up on the corner, chased him out. 3 days later, he died, she died. But how she died was she got in an argument with my grandpa. I guess this one morning I was supposed to go with them to sheep camp and I was tired and I slept in. I have a bad dream about that moment. I missed my ticket.
Yeah.
So I didn't go with them that morning, because I was the only or I was the second, I was the oldest grandkid at the time, and me being around them, they were good. They didn't drink, they didn't fight, they were always loving each other, and it was fun every time when they weren't drinking.
Right.
And I didn't go, so I guess they got beer, and they went out to the sheep camp and check on the sheeps, the horse, the cattle, and along the way, they were gone, waiting in the evening time. I guess somewhere they got in a fight, and while she was driving the S10, she kicked him out, and he was rolling off the road, and she was hauling butt down the road, and it was dirt road. Um, I guess the tire popped and started flipping. She got ejected. The truck landed on her, and a lot of her bones was crushed. And
Oh,
she made it till my mom showed up, and she died in her hand.
I
And
did
I
not
seen
know that. Wow.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
and next day, I went to school, I was distraught, and this girl she came up to me, She said my grandpa is a medicine man. And do you know that they have invisible arrows? And those invisible arrows they shoot at tires so the tires can pop and they can have accidents and kill that person. And she walked off and I was crying. I was crying.
Dawn.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Wow.
and then the night we're supposed to bury my grandmother, um, I was in a dream. My mom was trying to spank me. She was chasing me around the house and I was running from her. I ran around the house 1, 2 times. The third time, I was running to the front and we have this tree in the front of the house where the trucks would park underneath. And this tree my grandma always sat underneath. I ran. Sorry if I get a
It's
little
okay.
emotional. I don't share this with everybody, but
That's okay.
I thought I'd share it with you. So, you know, I seen her and um, I ran to her. I was holding her and she was holding me. And I was like, "Why'd you leave me? You know,
Right.
you left me behind. Why'd you do this to me?
Mhm.
Should have took me." And she's like, "Let's go. I'm not gonna let you go again." I was like, "Okay, let's go. I want to leave this place, and I hate this place. You know,
Right.
never
Right.
want to come back." 90s were rough for me.
Yeah,
So
they were. They were.
yeah, so you know, we started walking to this car that had no top. It's a topless car. It had no engine. The wheels were wooden or
Yeah.
something. It was different kind of wheels. There were
Yeah.
spokes, and in the front, the four horses. They were white horses,
Yeah.
and somebody opened the thing for us. And I walked in with my grandma, and I was sitting there holding her, looking out the back, and we started going, and we were going down the road, and we started going up higher and higher, and I seen the cart we were in was on fire, caught on fire. We were giving off so much fire, and I looked, the horses were flying up into the sky, passing all the stars. I've seen all the galaxies, the Milky Ways that we see now with the
Mhm.
telescopes, the new technology. I've seen all that already. All of it. We're flying past everything. The wind, my
Right.
grandma's curly hair, all of my face. I was holding
Right.
her, looking at everything.
Right.
And we're getting to a place was really bright, and that was the throne of God. And I woke up, and my grandpa's brother, my grandpa wasn't there. He was, he lost his wife. He was brokenhearted. We
Well,
couldn't find
sure.
him. Yeah, we couldn't find him. He was missing for a while.
Yeah.
We found him at the river, half dead. And
Oh.
this is when he was missing. We couldn't find him. And his brother came back from off the reservation. He woke me up. My mom wasn't gonna wake me up. They were gonna bury my grandma without me. He
Oh
woke me
boy.
up and he's like, "Do you want to?" Like the light was getting bright. Like I was getting there. I know I was
Right.
going there. And my
Right.
grandpa woke me up. I got up. He's like, "Do you want to see your grandma for the last time?" And I sat up and I was like, "Oh, I was just with my grandma."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay." We went to we buried her.
Wow.
And that was the last time I had a dream of my grandma. I had a dream of my grandpa. I couldn't stop crying.
No, I
um,
get it. I completely
yeah.
get it. I do. I
Oh
do.
yeah, they raised me, so
Well, yeah, but you
without
had a very involved traumatic time in your childhood from the
yeah.
first time we talked. I mean, that was not a normal childhood. That was not a regular childhood. That was very involved and very deep. And that had to be, I believe that was for a reason. And for whatever that did to shift you and make you as you are, and to give you skills, coping skills to deal with whatever you're going to come across. I'm sure that it had a purpose, but
Yeah.
going through it had to be incredible. I mean, I can't even imagine. So the bond you had with her and him was in depth. I mean, you
Mhm.
were very linked to them. They were part of the reason that you were okay, because
Oh
when you
yeah.
did wake up, you had somebody that believed you, that listened to you in whatever way that you were able to share, because sometimes you couldn't share what was going on. You couldn't verbalize it, but you knew that you were safe with them, and that meant a lot.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, you went through some really traumatic stuff. You've seen so many things your entire life, Don. and I can say from my own experience, um, I went through a lot as a kid. I didn't get to be a kid all the time.
Mhm.
Um, I don't look upon it as bad. I still feel like I had a good childhood, but it wasn't easy, and it made me grow up. I
Mhm.
grew up a lot faster because I had to face
Definitely.
things like an adult. I didn't have a chance to really be a little girl very often. It was once in a while. Most of the time I had to be very aware. I had to be vigilant. I had to be hyper vigilant. I had to pay attention to what was going on around me all the time. And I had to really focus because things would sneak up on me when I didn't
Yeah.
and scare the daylights out of me. And
Definitely.
I'm very grateful my mom, when I finally had the nerve to tell her what was happening, um, she not only believed me, but she helped me. She helped me understand. And I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have that. I have lots of friends that have been through psychic experiences and dreams, travels, emotional connections with things. And it's like, and had nobody to talk to, went through adolescence. And that seems to be what I'm noticing. I'm noticing a pattern that by the time people hit 10 years of age on up, that's when adolescence seems to slowly begin, like perimenopause.
Mhm.
Pre-adolescence.
Yeah.
Pre-adolescence seems to be when a lot of things really ramp up in the supernatural for humans. And it seems like, man, if you didn't have somebody to help you navigate all that, um, you don't always wind up too solid. If you don't have support, if you don't have a network around you to help you sort it all out, it's terrifying. You have to
Mhm.
know where your home base is, and you have to know that your people are there for you, that they're there. They're going to make sure you're okay, you
Mhm.
know? And then no, you're not crazy. You did see that weird thing and you did hear that weird thing. And the reason why you felt sick to your stomach or dizzy or whatever it was you felt was for a reason. And they'll help you figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah. Going through that stuff alone is not, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think we're supposed to help each other
Mhm.
because not everybody can do that. Not everybody can handle it.
Yeah.
You can handle it. I handled it, but not, I don't think everybody's meant to. And I wouldn't want them to because it's a lot.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, I
Just
I don't want my grandkids to go through that. I would rather they don't, unless they're meant to, if they're meant to for some reason, but I definitely wanna make sure they have support,
yeah.
for
Definitely.
real. Yeah. So what's your next biggest project? What are you working on next, Don? What's coming up for you?
So, um, oh man, a lot of things are moving. A lot of people are reaching out to us, on and off the Navajo Nation. We have the Apaches, we have some Pima friends reaching out, even in Oklahoma. And right now, I'm trying to get some GoPro, so we can start vlogging for. I'm under United Public Radio Network,
Mhm.
so they're looking to follow me around for documentaries for the high strange and try to capture. Sorry, try to
It's okay.
capture some all the things that we see across
Right.
Navajo land,
Right.
from you name it, any type of cryptids, portals, hollow earth entry. So they want to make I'm not sure how many seasons, but that's one of the things that we might be planning for. But
Cool.
right now I'm just trying to support my family.
Right. No, I get that. Yeah, you gotta do both. You got your
Mhm.
feet in both planets, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Being a in this digital age and finally learning how to work my laptop a little bit more better. I tell everyone I'm coming in from smoke signals to the laptop, guys. All right, have patience with me. Yeah, so like no more smoke signals now. Here's the
Uh,
email. Pop, pop, pop,
there
pop.
you go. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
Although I have to say, Don, I think smoke signals had better reception sometimes than internet.
oh yeah, yeah. You can rely on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Well, Don, it has been a blast talking to you again, and we'll have to do this some more, but it was so good to see you again. And thank you for being here for my
Likewise.
anniversary edition. I appreciate it.
Oh,
And
thank you.
definitely I want to keep in touch and see what you're up to next because you got a lot of things going on for you. I think it's going to be awesome.
Thank
Definitely.
you. Oh yeah.
And so if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Don, can you tell everybody that's listening and watching how they can reach you?
Oh, you can look me up at the Don't Whistle at Night podcast on YouTube and Spotify. We do have a website. It's at don'twhistleatnight.com. And at the
Okay.
very bottom of the website, there's an area where you can reach us, comment, and I do have my personal phone number on that website as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, other than that, we're reachable. We're more accessible than everyone. We try to be accessible
There we go.
more than our president of the Navajo Nation. That's for sure. Hmm.
Fair enough. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Don. Well, this is Holly from Holly's Pandorium, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching and listening. And if you would please hit the like button, it really does help me out. It doesn't cost anything, and it takes a half a second to do it. And please hit subscribe if you haven't already. That gets this out to more people. And check out Don's podcast, Don't Whistle at Night. It's an awesome podcast. You would love it. And it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
YouTube, Spotify, Rumble. We go live every Sunday, so you guys can come on, ask us a question, share a
Cool.
joke,
Nice.
whichever. Come and hang
That's
out with us.
awesome.
Oh, we're going prime time, second Sunday of this month. We'll be at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay,
So
cool. We'll have to check it out. Thank you again, Don. Well, this is Holly from Holly's Pandorium saying thank you for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.